Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll move on to recording the attendance.
Ms. Kessel?
Here.
Mr. Lanasee?
Hello.
Ms. Mack?
Here.
Okay, next we'll move on to 1.2, review of the agenda. Any additions to the agenda?
No additions. We just want to welcome everyone to our October board meeting. We have a few things on the agenda. The first thing, of course, will be the recognition of some of our students, our current 7th graders, last year's 6th graders. As you'll see for the rest of the agenda, we also have our veterans school tax exemption discussion coming up, and also some first readings and policies. And you'll hear a report from our principal of what's been going on the past couple weeks in school.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move right on to the royal recognition. Do you want to give us a little description of what we're recognizing tonight?
Absolutely. So, once again, good evening. And I draw your attention, if you don't mind, and Miss Albright's in our audience, so I'm going to actually ask her to come up as well. Those of you that have been a part of the board meetings over the past year and even previous years, we've reinstated the Royal Recognition Program. Basically what that is a chance to kind of recognize students for kind of going above and beyond in something. Okay, and that could be anything from participation in athletics to in the classroom. But basically what we try to do is ask our staff to kind of nominate a group of students or singular students that represent the mission statement. So we kind of put it up in the background as much as something that we see in the halls at the bottom of our letterhead. It's something we sometimes kind of ignore. Not ignore because we kind of get used to it, become kind of immune to it. So once again, as you'll see, and not to kind of read out loud to you, but again, the basic piece that we look for is, I'll take kind of the second paragraph if you don't mind, is as a small suburban school district rich with pride, we believe that by working together, we can create a dynamic program based on character, tolerance, and diversity, provide opportunities for all to reach their fullest potential, empower all to achieve personal excellence, and encourage a lifelong love of learning. So when we make these nominations or consider them, we look for students that really kind of epitomize that. So they kind of took something and they kind of went above and beyond. A few weeks ago, Coach Albright, who was our phys ed health teacher here at Barton-Dixon, made the nomination of some students that basically had the chance to participate in something in class, but then bring it a step further by having their work represented in the Scattergoat Fair this summer. So this being kind of our first meeting where everybody's back, we decided this would be a good time to nominate our students now that we're here. So Coach, I'll kind of ask if you don't mind to kind of explain what it is they did for your class and also how it was recognized at the Scattergoat Fair.
We actually had 2 projects that we did. The first one was a health pentagon, and students did a survey to find out what were the 5 aspects of health: emotional, social, nutritional, physical. So it's not just I eat well, I exercise, and then they took a survey to find out what theirs actually would look like, and they attached pictures or drew pictures on it to show what they would actually do for each side of theirs. The kids come up to and show theirs. Yeah.
Sure, that'd be great.
I think 3 kids here. The second one, and we won first place for each of these, was an I Am Unique book, and it's like a self-esteem building book, and each chapter was about what they accomplished, things they do in the community, things they do for other people. They did a poem where they started each letter of their first name with something that describes them, and they did collages. This is Susan Cleary's. So she wrote about herself, who she is, where she's from. That was her poem. So it kind of becomes like a yearbook about them, and then when we get all the chapters together, they take it to people in the community. And she put her page on it, but I had given them a white piece of paper, and they show it to friends, family, bus drivers, their karate instructor, whatever, and they write on it what they like about this person or what makes them unique. So it becomes like a yearbook all about them.
Excellent.
Okay.
And so again, Coach, to kind of recap, all these products were featured at the Scattergoat Fair, right?
Yes, they were all on display, and we had 2 general entries, the I Am Unique and the Pentagon, and they won first place prizes.
Both won first place prizes. That's excellent. Nicely done. So again, as you can see, this does represent work that really clearly went above and beyond the classroom, and obviously that transcended into work that was recognized in the community through the Scattergoat Fair in this case. So what we'd like to do is ask the students that are with us tonight, what we do is we do send a letter of invitation to all of our students that did participate, and if they're able to join us, we'll ask them to kind of come up and receive their certificate. We do like to take a picture over here once they're set, because we like to put that on the website. And if they're not here, of course, we make sure to recognize them on the morning announcements tomorrow morning via the television. So we'll actually start, and I'll ask students that are here, if you don't mind. We'll ask you, board members, if you don't mind, we'll rise so you can make the buffet line of handshakes. All right. That'd be great. First one up, we have Avery Barnes. They can listen to the applause in the minutes. That'll be good. Haley Barnes. Nicholas Carbone.
Congratulations.
Thanks for coming. Riley Contois. The meeting, nice. Liam Gavin. Hannah McCleary. Melena McGivern. Antonio Morales. Juliana Molino. Jaden Richardson. Gaetano Tedesco. And Evan Vidroda. So our morning program's going to be a little longer tomorrow morning, so homework's going to be extended to make sure we capture these guys. But again, we do appreciate you coming out. The certificate does read at the bottom for above and beyond work to have your health products displayed at the Scotticoke Fair. So again, they'll be recognized, and what we'll do is we'll take a picture of you for the website, if that sounds good. You guys look really excited, I know. It'll be on Twitter later, too. So. Thank you for coming out. And Coach, thank you again for featuring those. Well done.
Give them a second to make their way out. Okay, we'll move on to 1.4, approval of previous meeting minutes. Can I have a motion?
A motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll move on to 1.5, acceptance of the financial reports. We have the internal claims auditor's report for September 2016, the treasurer's monthly report with budget transfers, the quarterly revenue as of September 30th, 2016, and the extra classroom activity fund as of September 30, 2016.
A motion?
Second motion. Any discussion? Questions? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move on to 1.6, building use. Looks like we have one, Boy Scout Troop 502. That looks pretty straightforward. They want Tuesdays, 7 to 8:30 in the cafeteria.
A motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Sure.
Sorry. Oh, just to throw in a piece actually that Mrs. Castle brought up kind of for informational purposes. There are 2 events booked for the 28th, but actually as much as there's a kindergarten event and a movie night, I think there'll be the flexibility for students to attend both. So they can go down to the kindergarten night and then they can finish their night at the movie night. So we did double book, but I think they can get the best of both worlds.
Okay. Next we'll 1.7, communications and visitors. We have 4 communications, an email from Bonnie Pangburn. She was just talking about how appreciative she was of the administration. Katrina Dinan and Patricia Gray's letters of resignation. An email from Meredith Gavin, and she was glowing very, very much about Sam Swart. What a great coach she is, and I absolutely agree with that. I guess we'll move on to opportunity for the public to be heard. Has anybody signed up?
We have Mr. Devery. Did you want to wait to the end, or?
Want me to speak?
You can speak now if you'd like to, or you can wait.
It started a year ago this October, last October. I just want to say thank you to the board members, to Belle, and to Sharon, and to all the taxpayers that voted for this exemption. I also have to mention Tom Grego, who was with me since last October. And like I say, thank you. That's it. That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
I say thank you also.
Thank you.
Big bunch of guys and ladies.
Okay. We will move on to 2.0, reports to the Board of Education. Oh, did you have a comment, Carl?
Yeah, Carl Gager, Lakeview Road. I got a question on the letters here.
Yep.
It says communications to the Board of Education. Okay. Does that mean I cannot get a copy of it?
No, you can.
You can get a
You
copy.
can get a copy of it.
Then why don't we read it to everybody?
They're really, like, all 4 together are really long.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not a good excuse. I'm
They-
here
well.
for benefit, whether they're long or short.
Yeah, they're,
If you want a copy, we can
we
definitely
can
make
give
sure
you
that
a
you get a
copy
copy.
of it. You can
I only
send a request to Sharon.
I need 2 of them, a copy of those that we signed.
Okay.
Do I need 4 of them, or will I just?
Just,
I think we can just get them to you.
Sure.
When?
Well,
just,
she won't be able to till tomorrow, so
No, I understand that.
probably early next week, I'd imagine.
Sometime
Early next week, okay?
Or something like that, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever.
You know, she'll work on it, put it in the mail, and
Put it in the mail, that's fine.
Okay.
Perfect.
That'll work.
Perfect.
Thank
If you just want to leave your address, with me at the end of the meeting, I
Yeah.
can put them in the mail tomorrow morning for you.
I'm in the phone book if I.
Okay.
Oh, we got it.
I didn't use the private bill today.
is that it?
No. Yes. Okay, you want me to nitpicker, be a nitpicker. I said you can find it in the book, it's in the book. I don't
Okay.
think the other Jaeger would be Carl. With a K.
Okay. We will move on to 2.0, reports to the Board of Education. 2.1, Board of Ed reports and updates. I don't think we have anything. Oh, no, we are filling the vacant seats. I guess we've received 4, as of right now, 4 letters requesting to be interviewed. We still have to set the actual interviews, so we don't have dates yet. I would imagine it'll be within the next couple of weeks. So we'll work that out with our schedules. Does anybody else have anything?
Just wanted to say, Dr. Reardon and I are attending Saturday, seeing the commissioner, a dialogue with the commissioner at Questar. It's Saturday morning from 8:30 to noon, I think. So we'll be participating in a dialogue with the Commissioner of Education, so I look forward to taking part in that.
Okay, good, thank you. Move on to 2.2, District Superintendent Program Report.
Sure. Just a few updates, some of which will overlap with Principal Yotis, some of the pieces that have happened since school started. And kind of the district level pieces, our Ed Planning Committee has been convening to kind of look at our professional development plan. That is a requirement from the state, but it is something that we use all of our stakeholders for. So we've had our first meeting with a pretty solid rough draft, and I think we'll be proceeding to a final draft within the next month or so, and hopefully bring that forward to the board for approval. A homework center for our students is up and running, so our middle school students, starting October 11th, We kept our homework center running. The name change was key. It used to be called Homework Club. We thought going to Homework Center was better because it's both for students that need a remediation, but also those students that just choose to stay because it is a nice, quiet place to work. So that's something we've been happy to offer. We average anywhere so far from 9 students to 5 students. Today we had 3 just because of a practice piece, but it is a nice, solid environment that is sponsored by our teachers and our staff, and that's been fantastic. Going along with that, we did receive, as of about 2 days ago, $15,000 in extra aid from, it's called Bullet Aid, from Kathy Marchione, one of our state senators. So again, that will be sent to us. Again, we expect the check very soon. As we mentioned over the summer, we do have that kind of earmarked for technological replacement of items. Again, such things like projectors and smartboards. They do fail on us. When they do fail, they are expensive. Again, for example, that particular device runs about $2,000. The bulb is actually, well, I should say the smartboards are about $2,000. A bulb at this point is sometimes more expensive than the actual new projector. So we are using that to actually replace and kind of update and maintain kind of our replacement plan within the district with that when we receive that. And of course, we will send a thank you note to Senator Marchione, once we receive that check and have that ready to go. Going along with that, DC trip planning. As of last night, we had a DC trip planning with our 8th grade families. We are planning for that in terms of for fundraising. Our advisors, Mr. Roger and Mrs. Butcher, have been fantastic. And they're making sure we're ready to go for our trip April 5th through the 7th. Going along with that also, for our 8th graders, speaking of that, we've kind of been very responsive to some needs of, as you know, we have 5 high school choices: Brittenkill, Columbia, Troy, East Greenbush, and the 5th one being kind of the one that's most least attended, I should say, is Tech Valley High School. And so we've been kind of working, as Tech Valley's been working with local schools and also us, because sometimes there's a couple reasons for that. It's a location, it's sometimes a misunderstanding of the program itself. They've kind of reinvented themselves in the past couple of years. There's some stereotypes about the program, kind of what it means. So, and again, some of that is still new to us. So what we're doing is actually on October 28th, we're taking our 8th graders over for a 2.5-hour visit, where they'll have a chance to experience a product-based learning activity, followed by lunch with actual students, some of which are Gardner-Dixon students, to kind of get the real skinny on what's going on there, to see if that's a real valuable choice. I think sometimes it is discounted as a choice, and tuition-wise, it is something we pay a flat rate for, so whether we send 1 student or 10 students, it's the same price. So it is something that we do want students to at least give an open mind to, if it is the right program for that student. It is a very unique model, but we thought this would be a nice chance to get students to really see it and not just make a snap judgment of, that's only for science aficionados and things like that. So we're very excited about that. That'll be October 28th. And last but not least, I was going to mention the commissioner as well, but beat me to it, so that's good. And our other pieces, such as Veterans Day programming and Wellness Fair, I know Mrs. Yotis will talk about in her principal's report.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I have one more thing, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just a minute. You'll notice I was looking for an easel, but I couldn't find it. Our capital project, we did make that an updated piece that we were going to do each month. As you know, last month we had the architects join us and kind of give an overview via PowerPoint, but the architects, as of this afternoon, did drop off our drawings. These are kind of the larger drawings of the basic look, kind of the skeleton of the building, and then also, this is kind of the main one you might recognize, it's a little more user-friendly, is this one. This kind of has a little bit of what the inside of the addition of pre-K classrooms, the downstairs, extra special ed resources, pieces like that, and also the outside. We'll be hanging these at our main hallway display with a coming soon banner over that, because again, that is expected for fall 2018. And also, as the winter does pick up, I do look forward to forming that pre-K committee that we did mention earlier in the year. So once we kind of get going, the plans are still in motion, so nothing's changed since our last report, but we'll be forming that committee, and so do look out for that solicitation through our social media. But these will be in the main hallway for people to kind of take in and understand that this is a real tangible reality that's coming forward very soon.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, we will move on to 2.3, the principal's report.
Okay. Hard to believe we have only been in school a little over a month. We are certainly in the swing of things and are working very hard. Academically, as I alluded to last month, we started getting kids right off the school bus and running a lot of assessments. Every student was assessed using NWA, or computerized testing, in ELA and math. So that we could get a good gauge on where we need to start, so we can take off and differentiate instruction, to use small group. Every K-5 and some of the 6th grade was assessed one-on-one reading with their teacher, so that we had a good leveling system. I want to just give a big shout out to Stephanie Carbone, who has done an amazing job getting all 360 kids through this testing, being flexible schedules with teachers, the computer problems, and really having only probably 5 minutes of training as she took over for Beth Bissell. The position is certainly a lot of newness, and my hand goes out to you. I think you just did an amazing job. the data that we get from this testing and how quickly Stephanie could get this all organized and run through, and kids who needed makeups. It's just an amazing amount of work, and I thank you for all that you put into learning a program and then doing it so successfully. When we could be done by the end of September, then Stephanie again, along with Kim Herzelbetz, who is here, who just did an amazing job compiling all that data that we received from ELA and math tests on 360 students. And they make their spreadsheets and they analyze it and they have it all ready. And we used one day to run teachers through 20 minutes, 25 minutes with each teacher in the building to talk about every student. So we have a discussion about each and every student, accelerated, average, low, wherever you are, you fall. We talked about you in a big committee. Our special staff here, our support teachers, Kelly Paulter, Andrew Newmark, Judy Dutton. We're analyzing, we're wondering which kids need to be picked up. Those letters went out about 2 weeks ago. If you need special services that we thought you could use a boost for AIS services in reading or math, these guys have been amazing figuring out how to schedule for all these students so that, you know, any student we even were worried about a little bit, you know, we're working into the schedule. So all of that work to analyze and to have that all done by the 1st of October is amazing, and that these services have started. So again, kudos to all of you for all of that hard work. It is crazy that midterm progress reports for middle school went home on the 7th, and first quarter report cards go home November 10th. So we're already a quarter down, and boy, that flew by. Parent conferences are coming up on November 8th. Most elementary and conferences are scheduled. Middle school conferences are Amy Murphy's handling that, so if any parent wants a middle school with a team, reach out to Amy Murphy. The wellness fair, most of you were there, and huge success. My God, I can't thank enough for all the community members, our parents, our staff, the students who supported that wellness fair was amazing. Trisha Gibbs, who helped organize the whole piece, did an awesome job. The community event, we had only over 30 local businesses and attending the event or donating to the event. We had dentists, orthodontists, chiropractors, fitness, beauty, fire, ambulance, police, Heart Association, Blue Shield. Just so many people were generous in donating pumpkins and apples and face painting, and the Y brought the bounce house, and everything was free. Everything was a donation. Just a very good-hearted community coming together for wellness and safety. It was amazing. Sue Schubeck, Kate Mercado, the games, and just getting kids engaged and active. All your help was just so appreciated. Jennifer Price, another parent, was involved in a lot of recruiting of these services. So I thank everybody who stepped up or attended or just supported that night. It was great. Kids went home with a lot of great information, so did families, and if you were lucky enough to get a massage on the way out.
Oh, that was good.
It was.
I got the chair massage. It was worth it.
So just a lot of great information. A great night for kids. Shout out to Mary Alice Newell, who is there. She is in the back. Mary Alice had a great information night at the end of September. She had 30 kids sign up for 5th grade. So awesome. What a great turnout. It was wonderful. So that they're the majority of the 5th grade class is involved in taking an instrument for the first time. So that's great. Principal chats every month, the first Monday of every month. I am here in the library. I welcome anybody to come out and talk with me. We've had great discussions, and again, seed ideas, a question. A lot has come out of those 2 meetings already. A lot of great ideas for after school clubs, and I love it and I welcome it. So our next one will be November 7th at 6 o'clock, so please come if you can. And we have a Veterans Day Assembly coming up on November 10th. We're involved in planning that today, so you should be getting something in the mail or backpacks in the next couple days. One more shout out, Dan DeSoto did an amazing job. Our fall sports is the last week for fall sports. Soccer, Sam Davis, Dan DeSoto, Kate Cronin, our coaches, Sam Swart for cross country. They've done an amazing job. The kids have had just a great time this fall playing sports. And that's it for me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, 2.4, PTO update.
All right, nothing new really happening here. Actually, I should not say that. I take it all back. We have sent out the survey for the PTO fund spending, $10,000, and we've received fantastic results. So I'm putting those together. I still received a couple stragglers last week. And then we will sit down, and I'm going to work with Jason McCord on prioritizing a list and sending that out again for a second round to see what people would like to see of all the suggestions we received. At that point, we will take the results for the PTO board with the administration and kind of make a decision as to how we're going to spend those funds. So they will be indoors, outdoors, school-wide, across boards, helping teachers, helping students. We've got all sorts of ideas. So I'm really excited about that. That's huge. We are also working on improving communications. I put together a little form and distributed it all to the teachers on how to tap into our buddy Jason McCord. And who, when you're running a fundraiser or when you want to get the word out about a fun event that you want to spread school-wide, because the middle school is not so familiar with the elementary and the elementary is not so familiar with the middle, who to tap into and when. Whether it be Kat Fazioli, Jason McCord, for the e-news, the Twitter, the Facebook, and just telling everybody what everybody does. So hopefully that'll spread the word. And I also had the pleasure of meeting with our 2 8th grade advisors, which in all my 6 years involved in PTO, I don't know if we've ever done. So it was very exciting. We're trying to increase fundraising efforts, improve communication, as well as not overlap in any of our fundraising. So we want to help each other out as much as possible. And then we have kicked off in September our bowling club, our Yankee Candle fundraiser, which brought in another $800 more than it did last year, which is good because we were down last year. We had our pictures last week. We are running Colony School Bucks. We're running a slightly used coat clothing drive through them right now. That information came home. If you have any coats, bring them on into school. And our kindergarten family night is coming up next Friday. So I do take it back. We have a lot of fun. That's it.
Thank you, Sue. Okay, we'll move on to 3.0, appointments and authorizations. If either of you don't have any problems, we'll do 3.1 through 3.14 as a consent agenda. 3.1, the resignation of Patricia Gray from the as Board of Education member, effective 10/7/2016. Approve CSE, CPSE recommendations as per attached. Approve Keith Acotz for extracurricular appointment, chaperone, and softball coach for the 2016-17 school year as per the WTA contract. Approve Sam Davis for extracurricular appointment, boys and girls basketball and baseball coach for 2016-17 as per WTA contract. Approve Amanda Rich for extracurricular appointment, boys and girls basketball and softball coach for 2016-17 school year as per the WTA contract. Approve Dan DeSoto for extracurricular appointments, baseball coach 2016-17 school year per the WTA contract. Accept the resignation of Samantha Swart for extracurricular appointment to Odyssey of the Mind as a coach, effective 9/29/2016. Approve Gina Mahoney for extracurricular appointment for Odyssey of the Mind coach for the 2016-17 school year as per the WTA contract. Approve Mary Ellen Angrazano's temporary paid medical leave of absence as treasurer, account clerk, effective 10/17/2016 for up to 16 weeks until cleared medically to return. Approve Tom Cupp for temporary paid medical leave of absence as custodian, effective 9/27/2016 for up to 6 weeks until cleared medically to return to work. Approval of substitutes. We have a few. Uncertified substitute teacher at the rate of $70 per day. Miguel Pereira. Substitute teacher aide, $70 per day. Jennifer Collins and Lynn Denny. And I had a late addition, certified substitute teacher at $90 per day, Lynn Denny. 3.12, appoint Tom Reardon as Chief Emergency Officer, no stipend for 2016-17 school year. Accept a $2,500 grant from Dollar General Literacy Foundation. Approve the 2016-17 Wynantskill UFSD Academic Intervention Services, AIS, guidelines. And that's it. Any discussion on any of that? No?
I'll motion.
Yeah, we have to do that first.
A second?
Now, is there any discussion?
No discussion.
Yeah.
Oh, just to clarify, just for information, it is a new state, two regulations. One is that there is a designated chief emergency officer. Again, so that's why it's listed there is no stipend, it's just a designated should there be an emergency. Also, the AIS plan that is a requirement by the state as well, that you basically publish guidelines as to how students are selected, as Principal Yotis mentioned, using a battery of tests and assessments that we use, classroom observation. So we do have to have that on file. So that document basically just allows parents access to that to understand why students are assigned that. And thirdly, actually, we have Mr. Newmark in the audience who wrote the Dollar General grant with Mrs. Wallace, and we did receive that. So again, nice job, Andrew. That's nice.
Okay.
Mrs. Castle?
Yes.
Mr. Lanacy?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Okay. 3.15. Whereas pursuant to the Real Property Tax Law Section 458-A, the Board of Education of the Wynantskill Union Free School District desires to offer school tax exemption on the primary residence of eligible veterans residing within the school district. And whereas a public hearing was held on this matter on September 15, 2016 at the Gardner Dickinson School, and whereas said public hearing was advertised in Troy Record, and whereas all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf or in opposition to the adoption of the proposed local law offering a school tax exemption on the primary residence of eligible veterans residing within the school district. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to Real Property Tax Law Section 458-A, the Board of Education hereby adopts the alternative veterans exemption permitting exemptions of 15%, an additional 10%, and 50% of veterans' disability rating as determined by the Veterans Administration or the Department of Defense for wartime veterans, combat veterans, and veterans who sustained a service-related disability, respectively, pursuant to the following maximum exemption amounts. For wartime, $9,000, combat, $6,000, disability, $30,000. Be it further resolved, this local law shall be effective immediately, available to eligible veterans for the upcoming school tax year, and shall continue unrescinded or amended, or until rescinded or amended by resolution of the Board of Education. Somebody like to make a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? I think we've had a lot of discussion, like Mr. Degre said, over the past year.
We're ready for the roll.
Mrs. Castle?
Yes.
Mr. Lanacy?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
First readings. Sexual harassment policy 0110, sexual harassment regulation 0110R, sexual harassment and bullying prevention and intervention policy 0115, sexual harassment and bullying prevention and intervention regulation 0115R, student harassment and bullying prevention and intervention exhibit 0115E.1, student harassment and bullying prevention and intervention exhibit 0115E.2, board operational goals 200-2000, school board legal status policy 2100, school board powers and duties exhibit policy 2110-E, school board access to information and reports policy 2110.1, board member authority policy 21111, board member school visit policy 2111.1, school board elections policy 2120, candidates and campaigning policy 2120.1, voting procedures policy 2120.2, board member qualification 2121, filling board vacancies 2150, school district officer and employee code of ethics 2160, Board of Educational meeting, no, Board Organizational meeting, 220. Board Officers, 2220. Appointed Board Officials, 2230. Citizens Advisory Committees, 2260. School Attorney, 2270. Regular Meetings, 2310. Special Meetings, 2320. Executive Sessions, 2330. Notice of Meetings, 2340. Agenda Preparation and Dissemination, 2342. Board Meeting Procedures, 2350. Quorum, 2351. Rules of Order, 2352. Minutes, 2360. Broadcasting and taping of board meetings, 2382. Board hearings, 2390. Policy development, adoption, implementation, and review, 2410. Administration in policy absence, 2440. New board member orientation, 2510. Board member training, 2520. School board conferences, conventions, and workshops, 2521. And board staff communications, 2700. You guys were busy.
Should we read all these?
No.
We whipped them out.
Yeah.
So those are all first readings for us to look at.
Very good to do before bed, if you haven't.
Yes. Yeah.
If I may just say a little kudos to the policy committee, we did rack through these at a very productive but longer evening, and I will say, as you know, we did buy into the policy review service. We're actually ahead of the game, so we're waiting for the next shipment of the 3,000 and 4,000 series, the 4,000 and 5,000 series. It goes up to 9, so we're waiting for them. That's a nice thing to be caught up. So, good work, policy committee.
I would just second that. It's been a great group to work with, and I hope we can get, if we need we might need some new faces next year, because things come up and people's schedules change and whatever. But it's been great to work with everybody, and kind of ironically, as a board member, many of these, as you can see, dealt with board member behavior issues, things, and it really helped us see things in a different light and be able to look at it probably much differently than we would have if we had reviewed these last year. So we were able to put some good information, some stuff that we all felt comfortable with from the administration standpoint, the board, standpoint, parent standpoint. So I think you'll like what you see. No major changes, but tweaked enough that it'll clarify things moving forward.
I read
Well
them.
said. Very authentic.
Everyone. I think we should read them all out loud now.
The good thing is some of them are short.
I'm just kidding. I do have a question. Okay. All right. So on policy 2111.1, board member school visits, paragraph 2. Prior to such a visit, the board member will contact the superintendent of schools or the assistant superintendent for instruction. Who's that?
Can I do that?
We don't have that. 2111.1?
I was
Okay.
going to
So should it be principal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm shocked. We normally are pretty good
I
catch.
know,
Normally
I know, yeah. See, but this shows I really read
Oh,
them.
that must have been at the end of the night.
In the middle. So 2111.1, paragraph 2, and it references an assistant superintendent for instruction.
Oh, we didn't tell you about that new position?
No,
Oh.
no, you did not.
Surprise.
So I just think that should say principal. Yes, and then on, just one more comment. But I gotta remember what it was, hold on. Oh, on 2320, the special meetings. I had thought that any board member can request a special meeting. I didn't think it had to go through the board president. Like when I was reading some very riveting education law, I thought that it reads, special meetings of the Board of Education must be called as requested by a member of the board making such a request to the board president.
Right, any board member can request it, it just has to go through the board president.
Okay, that's just our policy though, that's not how it has to be. So I'm just clarifying.
Isn't that-
I don't care if you change it or not, but.
Is it a required or local?
I thought like I could call the meeting
It's a
and
notice.
set it up. And it's just for a special meeting, 2320. And
And it looks like that was not changed by us, right? That was,
That wasn't changed
That
at
wasn't- so
all.
that- so-
That's how.
it was previously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
so I think
So
we.
any
that's
board
not what
member
we-
can-
that's not
Maybe
what-
the wording's clumsy, but
Maybe.
any board member can call a meeting, but
Right.
it needs to go through the board president. And there
Okay.
has to be a majority of,
Right, I knew about them, yeah, the
Yeah.
majority. It was just the way, I don't know, I just wanted to,
if you want to change the wording, we can work on,
Mm-hmm.
you want to have it clarified somehow, that's fine.
but what if the board president says no?
Well, I guess
Then
the way I understand
the
it.
board member should still be able to call a special meeting if they have a majority. So that's where I'm feeling limited, not that you would ever say no.
Well, I think what it means is that you wanted to call the meeting
Yeah,
on
I have to let you know
next
first.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to let everybody else know that Darcy's called the meeting.
Darcy's called a meeting
next
for Tuesday. Okay. That's fine. I'm just,
So would it help to
I'm
maybe
nitpicking.
clarify the wording to say the president will, the request was made to the board president, so the president may coordinate the meeting?
yeah.
What do you think?
If I
That's-
can speak too, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, because
go
I'm on
ahead.
the committee. I believe we discussed this.
Did you?
We did,
I-
we
I
went around
vaguely
with it.
I vaguely remember this, and I think it was because of the fact that it's a majority vote, that if everybody
Mm-hmm.
else wanted it, that it just had to go through the president for that exact reason. And then
Mhm.
if everybody else wanted the meeting, a majority of the vote would take precedence anyways, no matter what.
Okay, I'm
So-
fine with it. Just, well,
I
that's
do-
my other
I do
question.
vaguely remember discussing.
Hmm?
That, yeah, that does.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. You can leave it as is. It was just,
We can-
I just
we
want a
can
little
tweak it.
clarification.
I have no problem.
That if I want a meeting, no, just kidding. No, just kidding.
Be there by yourself, Darcy.
Yeah, be all alone. No, I'm
I'll
just,
book the room
just
for you.
curious. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. That's all. I was just curious. All right. So my last, that's it. You can leave it as it is. My last comment or question is on the sexual harassment policies. So throughout the sexual harassment, it's really a question for Dr. Reardon, not the policy committee. But throughout it, it talks about that there will be training provided to students at their level. And so my question, and you don't have to answer this tonight, is has it been provided? When will it be provided again? Because I have experienced, this happening, mostly in the form of jokes and degrading comments among the 6th through 8th graders. And I've seen it in social media, witnessed it. And I just think we need some training.
100%, and actually, I think that has to be reoccurring, and that we have not had the training this year, and I'm not sure, I don't recall last year anything very formal. We do have training coming in this year, actually, right, Mary, booked for,
Yeah, November 3rd.
just for the middle school specifically for that,
Okay.
that piece. And
I do think you need to go to lower grades
Department.
because I have witnessed it from kindergarten up.
So in the lower
So,
grades,
but
Amy
age
Murphy-
appropriate.
Amy Murphy is covering that in her second step, which goes till 6th grade. So she'll be doing that on a regular basis.
Okay.
We just met with her to outline,
Right.
the topics and how it will be covered throughout the school year.
Okay.
7 and 8, again, we have a presentation for children from the Rensselaer County Probation Department is coming.
Okay.
November 3rd, and then North Greenbush Police is coming. We don't have that date. We're going to hopefully, that was first couple weeks of November for parents, just to kind of reiterate
Okay.
what Rensselaer County is going to be talking about to the kids. So
Okay, great.
we're gonna-
So I just, in regards to the
Absolutely.
training, maybe it's a regulation, I'm not sure. I think it needs to be annually and say
Yes.
annually somewhere in here because you could give a training and then not do it for 4 or 5 years. I
Exactly.
just think it needs to be, in today's world, it needs to be revisited. And it's mostly jokes. It's mostly kids think it's funny and other kids think it's not funny. They don't think it's funny, so it's that kind of thing. So anyway.
No, a point very well taken, and actually that's something, even the DASSA legislation, some of our students are not aware, actually most of our kids are probably not aware of what that is, so we have to change that this year, make sure that part
So
of the presentation.
we're working on a
What is,
PowerPoint
the
right
Dignity
now.
for All Students Act.
Right.
Um,
I remember a
And-
little bit a few
Yeah.
years ago.
Yep, we
with
did the year
DASSA,
before last.
I think
Yep.
We have a
remember the
couple
pictures.
students working on it too,
I just don't know.
a student component piece from the student perspective of maybe
Yeah.
how they maybe misinterpreted that line or crossed that line from a student perspective. so.
Okay. Perfect, thank you.
Good point.
Good answers. You're all ready. You were ready for me.
Okay.
Anything else, Doris?
No, I'm good. Great, thanks.
Do we motion?
We don't
Not
have
on
to.
a
It's
first.
just for
No,
Just discussion.
it would just be the only, the one that did get a change. I don't know if that has to go back to first reading.
It will go back to first reading,
Yeah,
yes.
so, sorry.
Bounce that back.
Okay, 4.0, old business. I don't see anything here. 5.0, new business. Legislative liaison for NISBA and CAPSBA. You want to talk about that, Dr. Rudy?
Sure. Actually, basically, one board member of all boards of education is designated to kind of be the New York State School Boards Association and the Capital Area School Boards Association kind of representative. And basically, they're the liaison. For the most part, you all received the on-board newsletter and the communications from NISBA, but they're kind of called upon as like the liaison. So should there be a conference that you felt that NISBA was offering that someone should attend, that liaison might attend, they tend to pay that person, similar to sitting on the audit committee, although this doesn't meet as a committee, it's just a designated person on the board to kind of be that connection. So if they called a vote and wanted one person per board, that person would be that representative. So we just need to fill that vacancy.
Okay, so should we just think
So when
about
do you
it?
need to have a name to submit to them?
We can actually, it's more that do we submit a
No,
form? We just kind of appoint.
But we didn't know if you wanted to do it when the whole new board was in place.
That probably would be best.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
just kind of putting it on the
Right,
radar, looking
just
through
on the-
past
yeah.
minutes and things, so.
Okay.
So if you'd like to certainly wait till we have all seats filled,
I
we
think that
could.
would be a good idea.
Sure. So we have plenty of time.
Okay, 6.0, informational. Our next regular meeting, November 17th, 2016, at 7 p.m. And 6.2, opportunity for the public to be heard again. Anybody signed up?
So,
I just have a question on our capital project.
Okay.
So when we started this X amount of years ago, we had all of these plans that some of which have fallen by the wayside due to timeframes or the need of a fire lane. And do we, I mean, I know that now it's going over budget because now things are more expensive and it's 2 years later and materials. So is that money that was set aside for certain things like the track or the trail with the little equipment stations and the possible basketball or a tennis court, whatever it was at the time, I can't remember. Is that money like still there or has it been rolled into the increased cost for materials and things?
Now, do correct me if I'm wrong, that's a great question. I do believe that those two particular items, I think they were kind of, and again, please speak up if I'm wrong, coming into this new, they were kind of extras, meaning that if there were funding, they would add the fitness trail and those kind of exercise pieces and the court, and they were in the plan. Now, they couldn't be a part of the plan due to the acreage, regardless. But I do think they were extras on top of, like, if the bill came in less than, 5.1 million, maybe you'd add the fitness trail, or maybe you'd add the courts, or both. So it doesn't necessarily free up funds, it's no longer a possibility to do the space,
Yep.
if that makes sense.
Right.
Does that sound
I
right?
think that's right.
Right. And unfortunately, the longer the project goes on, the costs go up.
Exactly.
Yeah. But are we over budget at this point? I don't think that they reported that, did they?
No, so actually we're in a good spot because besides, we're authorized to borrow 5.1 and though costs will rise, we maintained our capital fund, as a rather hardy budget. So that's going to be good for us down the road. I do think we'll be borrowing either the same or less. Well, definitely the same, but I do think possibly less.
And then just one quick comment. I understand that a lot of the prospective board members that have expressed interest are either most parents. And it's very exciting to hear that so that they're a little bit more in tune with what's happening at the school, and I'm excited to see what the future brings.
We're excited too.
So are we.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sue. That was it. Signed up. Does anybody else who didn't sign up want to speak?
Will the announcement be made at the next meeting of who, or will they be there? The new board members? Putting you on the
Great
spot.
question.
I think we were going to set a date for interviews.
Yes, actually, that might be a good idea for the board if they were. Are you prepared with calendars? Any chance?
Yeah.
Board members? perhaps it might be good to set a date for when we would do interviews. And I think the process would be, and the board, if it's acceptable to you, would be to set up interviews with those candidates. We'll decide on a length of time, whether it's, how long the interview would be. And then I think depending on how much we accomplished would be whether they were appointed at the November meeting or if we decided to throw a special meeting in. Again, I think depending on availability, but I think the goal would be November, correct? The latest, the November meeting.
Is it public knowledge who applied?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
No, I'm not gonna lie.
That is a great question.
I would love to know.
Huh.
I'm going to reiterate. That's a great question. The only reason that might preclude us from announcing it is because since it is decided by the board, it does minimize input. Meaning it's not a vote, so it's certainly by releasing the names, it could cause.
Is it a personnel issue?
A personnel issue, if that makes, meaning social media, something, so-and-so should definitely get it, so-and-so should definitely get it, so-and-so should, if you listed all the names as potential.
And who are the?
That's what I think would be.
How many of you vote? Is it 4 or 3 that will vote? 3 board members who choose to. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could get 4 and then, 3.
It'll be 3.
Tom, are you included in the interviewing too?
Yes, well, if it's okay with the board, we'll interview all candidates, and then though the board will vote to appoint, I don't have the right to vote, but obviously the 4 of us will, kind of weigh the interviews.
There's only
And
3 votes, the superintendent gets a tiebreaker.
Right.
power.
That works.
Huh. It's interesting.
Beautiful.
Interesting
I
thought.
was sleeping, I'm saying.
No, we got it.
So do we want to look at calendars?
Sure. Oh, and if it's for informational purposes too, speaking of the seats, there are 2 seats, I think we clarified this in our last meeting.
We did.
The first seat is, all seats are up the 16th regardless, and then of course, candidates can either run, new candidates can run, but a new election will be held May 16th regardless.
Good, continue on that vote. You said 2 board members who won. Now, one was here over a year. Now, will that termination in May be for the balance of that, and the other one the balance of that?
Yes.
And what happens if you're going to have 3 or 4, which could possibly happen? Or,
Great question. So the one board member seat expired this May, would have expired May or June 30th.
So that's 1 and
So
the other one's 2.
the top vote getter would get the full term for 3 years. The second top vote getter, the second place, would get the remaining year on the second one, and then.
Yep. So I know, Kathy, Tuesdays and Thursdays generally aren't good for you.
Right. Do Monday or Wednesday night next week work for either of you? Or Monday and Wednesday the following, forget the month. Obviously, we're not going to meet on Halloween.
Why not?
In costume.
The 24th, 26th,
What's the next
I,
week?
or November 2nd?
I was going to say, yes, I'm
November
at
2nd.
a conference those days,
Which, next week?
25th and 26th.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah, November
But I'll
2nd
be
is good.
November
That's a
2nd?
Wednesday, right? Wednesday, November 2nd? Yeah, that's good for me.
November 2nd, good
Yes.
for you?
this is my calendar.
You in? Wednesday, it's a Wednesday night?
Yep, I'm free that night.
I'm free.
Are we going to do all 4 in one night?
Yes.
I think we should be able to.
Okay.
Do them each half an hour.
Starting at
Starting
6,
6:30.
6:30.
What time?
6:30?
6:30.
6:30.
Okay.
So 6:30. Maybe want to meet at 6. Should we start at 6:30 or 6?
Oh, like 6:15 to
Like
like
6. Want
7.
to meet at maybe 6?
You can say
6:15
6.
possible?
I'll fly home
6:15.
from
Or
6:30.
And then start the interviews at 6:30.
Why don't we do that?
What's 15
Okay.
minutes? 6:30 is good, right?
so 6.
We'll meet at 6:15 to try to get organized.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then we'll start the interviews at 6:30.
And is this
And
an
you can-
executive?
This is executive.
Yes.
Do we want to set a backup date or a follow-up date just in case?
In case it's not.
Thanks, Becky.
Thanks.
Now that you said it's going to, we probably should have.
Well,
Sure.
I'm leaving for Disney World on November 6th. Don't tell I'm taking my kids out.
November 7th or 9th?
No, I'm going 6th to the 12th.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
I'm going, I'm in Disney.
And now it's in the records.
And now it's in the record on the minutes that I'm taking my children
Gotcha.
out of school.
Would,
Why don't we just leave it at the second?
Me too.
a second, then if we have to retool, you know. So we'll announce, I think we'll just announce it is an executive session, so it's not a public meeting, but just for transparency's sake, that we'll be calling an executive session for the purposes of interviewing potential candidates.
And do you want it in here so it's more comfortable, or do you want it in our office? Or do you want candidates to wait in here?
Maybe candidates.
Yeah, and then we'll meet
Okay.
in your office. Comfy chairs. These are awful.
Beautiful.
And you can schedule all that?
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. 7.0, request for executive session. Anybody have a need?
I would ask just to call a brief one for option number 6, just to go over.
So the medical financial credit for employment history of a particular person or corporation or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or a corporation.
I'll motion.
Second.
And would you like to adjourn out of executive session? I mean, I'm okay after that if you guys need.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I think we have to come
We just have
back.
to come back out, just so.
Yeah, then try. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.